Hello and welcome along to another CrowdProperty.com funding opportunity. Today we're going to Marske Stables, which is at Marske near Richmond, DL11 7NB. Now, CrowdProperty is a peer-to-peer lending platform designed to facilitate loans between private individuals and professional property businesses. CrowdProperty is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority under permission number 723959. CrowdProperty is not covered by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. There are risks with any loans you make, and just like all peer-to-peer lending, your capital is at risk. CrowdProperty endeavours to protect all lenders, and this is done by registering the legal first charge against the property project. This means that in the very unlikely event a borrower defaults on the loan, CrowdProperty will be able to take ownership of the project and manage it for the lenders. So let me then introduce you to the borrower on this project. Is Ian Morton. He's a director of Heritage Apartments Limited, and I'm delighted to say he joins me on the line now. Hi Ian.
Hello there, good afternoon.
So let's start off then by finding out a bit more about you and your experience of what you've done to date, please.
Okay, yeah, well, originally I've been in property for 40 years, or over 40 years now. Originally started out as an interior designer, then moved on to project management, and then got into design and build work, and finished up as a commercial conversion specialist about 15 years ago, and then really got into, and I've always loved heritage listed buildings, so that's pretty much what this project is. Completed quite a few of those over the years, over 30. And I just enjoy working on something and transforming it into something special at the end.
Now, I know this project is very special as well. There's the photo on the right hand side. So it's the conversion then of a Grade 2 listed former stables. You're going to make it into 10 apartments. Tell us a little bit more about how you found this project, Ian.
Yeah, well, it came, my colleague found it actually. We went to see it, and it's just very exciting. It's obviously an old stable block, but it's got a huge history with it as well. We actually found it on the internet, and then we got to know the guy that was the owner. Negotiated with him for the purchase.
Now this is going to be 4 raises. This is the first phase raise of those 4 raises. And it's quite a stunning property. Let's see where it is. So it's in the Yorkshire Dales, local population around about 6,000 or thereabouts, and it's part of the national park. It lies immediately west of Marske Hall itself. The stables is a former 2-storey quadrangle extending to some sort of 15,726 or so square feet. It's got a central courtyard. There's a front entrance there also with a clock tower and a cupola, or a cupola. That sounds interesting. Tell us a bit more about that. What's a cupola?
Yeah, well, it didn't originally have that. The Victorians actually, but basically the whole place was bought as very much of a show-off, sort of for the aristocracy of the time. It's around the 1750s, and it was a hunting place. So there's actually a place for keeping the dogs. That was just something the Victorians put on to just emphasise, their sort of status really of the building.
And you've had planning permission granted. That's by Yorkshire Dales National Park Planning Authority. Their planning references are
Yes.
R/31/23F and also R/31/23G/LB, where permission has been granted for the renovation and conversion of these former stables into 10 service holiday apartments. Now, I understand you're going to actually retain this property and refinance it and then let them out.
Yes, that's correct. We've done similar things. Actually, one of the properties you're going to see a bit later on. Yeah, so we have another company that manages the properties at the end.
Okay, we'll talk that through in just a minute then. So the location, about 6 miles west of Richmond, about 18-19 miles southwest of Darlington, and about 40 miles northeast of Harrogate. Local roads nearby, it's about 10 miles or so from junction 53 of the A1M. And there's New Scots Corner Designer Village there as well, due to open in the summer of 2020. Here's where it looks on the map. So on the left hand side you can see the CrowdProperty flag pointing to where Marske is. You can see how close it is there to Richmond. And on the right hand side you can see then where the stable block is in particular in the village of Marske. A little bit more here about the location. So it's then in the Yorkshire Dales National Park, immediately west of Marske Hall. What's Marske Hall used for at the moment, Ian?
Yeah, it was converted after World War II into some apartments, so that's currently what its use is.
And look, nearby there's things like the Theatre Royal, there's Richmond Castle, the George and Dragon Bistro, that sounds really lovely as well. And lots of local interest places as well, which is a lot of a thing. Particularly the fact that Marske was the father of ellipse. So I understand this is a racehorse, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got this amazing story. Yeah, so Eclipse is still in the top 4 most successful racehorses of all time, and it's in the bloodline of 98% of all the thoroughbred racehorses in the UK and actually America as well. So it's the great-great-grandfather of Red Rum and all the famous racehorses. One of them as well, actually, just as another thing, the Battle of Waterloo. When Wellington went there, he rode on a horse called Copenhagen, and that's a relative of Eclipse as well. So massive history.
That is huge, isn't it? And so this is the stable block where, which was the home to Marske, and obviously with that wonderful pedigree as well. So on the right hand side we can see an aerial view of the 2 buildings, but this is your proposed development. So 10 different units, a mix of 1, 2 and 3 bedroom properties, of course of different square footages. Just talk us through what the general plan is. We'll look at the floor layout in a minute, but just talk us through here your general idea on this.
Yeah, well, obviously it's a listed building, so we've got to keep all the characters. So basically the first floor has got wonderful exposed trusses. We've managed to keep all those visible, and exposed stone walls that will all be repointed, and sort of nice timber floors basically. So it's very much in character with the existing stable building. And similar on the ground floor, except we'll have flagstones and again timber floors down there as well. So very much in keeping with the stable block.
And the top photos, the 2 photos there, is the existing, and then down below that we can see what the proposed are. So some more windows going in basically in some of the areas that's currently closed off.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so the planners wanted us, which is quite right as well, to put as much light in as possible. So it's got in the courtyard itself as well. It's got more additional windows going. It's going to be very light and airy and full of character.
So here's then this site plan. This is according to Land Registry, where we can see access in through sort of the top part where it comes in off the road down round to the stable block. Let's move on though to the floor plan. So this is what you're proposing on the ground floor. Just talk us through this.
Okay, yeah, well there's if you look over in the bottom corner, there's a square in the middle there, which is where the clock tower is. Off to the left of that you can see within the purpley blue colour there's a full apartment there. On the right hand side there's a communal space actually that we've got permission to use that for meetings, corporate events, things like that. And that can also be used as, so it's actually virtually an 11th apartment that can be used for disabled people as well, so they can come along and enjoy the countryside and the Great Yorkshire Dales as well. So, and each apartment has really been determined by the existing building, because obviously a listed building you do huge structural work, so you can see there's pretty big party walls in between apartments. So that's actually a really good feature, because it will be very good, on acoustics, because we've already got the structural walls between apartments.
But the square shape of the whole building lends itself very nicely to apartments, doesn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, obviously it originally planned out for horses, but it has worked out extremely well. Yeah, it took a long time with the planners to work it out, and I think we've got a really good result actually.
Let's then look at the first floor. Is there anything different to tell us about this?
Well, only that you might have picked up that some of them, so there are some that are not, well, they're duplex apartments basically. On the 2 side wings there's 4 duplex apartments. On the top and bottom of the drawing that you're looking at, there are apartments that sit on top of each other, really more like a traditional apartment. So the duplex apartments, obviously you've got a nice staircase going up, and your bedrooms are going to be upstairs where all your exposed trusses are. So obviously I've spent a lot of time there. I can tell you it's pretty special. It's fantastic building.
And who do you expect to be coming and staying in these properties?
Yeah, well, a lot of different types of people. We've researched the market. We've spent a lot of time researching the market. We've had Welcome to Yorkshire actually involved in this, as well, and the Dales National Park Authority, who have met both of the heads of the park there on site. They're really excited about it as well. It will be foreign visitors, it will be people from all over the UK as well. Staycation is a big thing, where, you know, I'm sure you know, where people tending to stay more in the UK, especially with the old dreaded Brexit word. So it's becoming more and more popular. And the Dales as well, because of Tour de France and all the special things that we've got up there, is now a major holiday destination.
And do you live nearby in the area, or will you get a team to come and run the serviced accommodation units for you?
Well, as I said, we've already got a management team that already run existing serviced accommodation holiday lets in different places in the Dales and the Lake Districts, actually. So they will manage it. But I do live quite nearby. I will be involved in it, but I certainly won't be running the day-to-day. There'll be somebody on site running the day-to-day management of the site. We've got local people already involved in maintenance and you know, management and laundry and things like that.
How long do you think it'll take you to convert it?
Well, it's a 40-week contract, so we've already gone to tender. Tenders have returned. There's 40 weeks on site, so we will have it finished before Christmas. Basically, we will then, you know, just test it out basically in the early part of next year, 2021, and then open it in the spring.
Well, it's a lovely project. I know that you've done other similar projects before. On the screen now we've got a case study that we've got from Claremont. Tell us what you did here.
Yeah, well, very similar building actually. I've really got to like Georgian buildings. This was a fantastic Georgian Grade 2 listed merchant house in Leeds that we converted, and became 13 apartments. So a very similar project really, in size, and a little bit different in that it's got major sort of architectural features, fireplaces and cornices and things like that in there. But we've traded that for over about 2.5 years now, and it's hugely successful. It's actually, since the day it opened, it's not stopped being successful. We've refinanced it as well and got all the money being out, pay back everybody, all the interest and development finance, and yeah, it's trading really well, very successful.
And the rental income there, 338,000, which is quite healthy, but so is that profit, 650,000.
Yeah, it just was a really successful project, literally. And incidentally, it was interesting because it was owned by the Yorkshire Archaeological and Historic Society, so they were involved in every part of it. So you can imagine that was, if there was going to be a test for creating a listed building, that was the test. You know, the conversion of a listed building, because they were watching everything we were doing. But in the end, they were really happy. You know, they were really, really pleased, and actually, you know, want us to do other buildings for them as well now. So we've been sent other buildings to look at in Leeds.
So you clearly came through with flying colours on that particular one. Let's move on to the second case study here. This is Summerhill Cottage. What did you do on this one?
Yeah, well, this was a little cottage, tiny. You can just about, if you look at the picture on the right-hand side, you can see a little bit of a white cottage. That was what originally was there when first started to develop the site, basically. The thing that you can see on the photograph there is virtually all new build that we built on. And then since then we've built a new build studio there as well, up in the beautiful Lake District, which together with the Yorkshire Dales, you don't really get much better. But I'm from there, so I have to say that. But yeah, fantastic views, beautiful place, and again, really healthy holiday let.
So here then is an overview of the project financials and the proposed loan. This is the first phase of a 4-phase raise. Phase 1 is for £380,000 out of the total facility that CrowdProperty is offering of £1.5 million. The site has been verified by RICS as being worth £434,990, and they've also verified the GDV, the gross development value, to be £2,508,652. The estimated conversion cost is £1,511,000, with the initial drawn down to be £80,000. What are you going to use that initial money for, Ian?
Yeah, it's just to do the initial works really, to strip out the building of the existing elements that shouldn't be there, that have been agreed to be removed by listed building, so we can expose all the features and by that determine the full sort of look of it and get rid of any risks really before we start on the main project.
And then the remaining loans to be drawn down on completion of the independent monitoring surveyor's report. Initial loan to value just 18.4%, which obviously is quite favourable. The maximum loan term is for 18 months. We expect this loan to start at the 24th of February 2020. Remember, the exit strategy is that Ian's going to refinance it onto long-term refinance, and people investing in this project are going to get 8% per annum interest, which is paid at the end of the project. And as ever, CrowdProperty will take first charge security against the property to help protect people investing in this project. Looks a very stunning project. It'll be great to follow through to see how things go on this particular one. Is there anything more you'd like to add?
Only that we will be posting, various visuals of the site as we go along, so we'll be posting things on some of the social media so that investors can see what we're doing, and hopefully they'll come and have a look as well at some point. We'd enjoy to show them around.
And there's opportunities, of course, to help with the funding on the later phases as well, which we will come to throughout the 18 months, so starting with the 24th of February or thereabouts. So thanks for explaining everything to us so well, Ian. Exciting project, looks very good. Please, then the next steps are to make sure that you understand the loan that is being offered here. It's important that you carry out your own due diligence both on Ian and his development team and also on the project itself, and then decide how much you would like to lend. CrowdProperty.com is the place to be to pledge on launch, and then people investing will have the anti-money laundering checks carried out, and then you'll be invited to send your funds to your very own online e-wallet when it's called for, and you'll start earning interest then on completion of the loan agreement. So thank you for watching this webinar. This is the first phase of 4 phases where we're looking for £380,000, please, and it's to convert Marske stables with all that pedigree and history, and that's in the village of Marske, which is near Richmond, DL11 7NB. Thank you for watching this CrowdProperty.com webinar. We look forward to you joining us again soon for another funding opportunity here at CrowdProperty.com.